Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. First of all, apologies for my lack of content over the last couple of weeks. Essentially the weather has been absolutely diabolical. We've had two named tropical storms come through in the past couple of weeks, and apparently there's another one due to hit us anytime in the next few days. So I've just come out to try and capture some new photos in the autumn woodland, because like I said, I haven't been out for a while because of the weather and because I've not really been motivated to do so. But I want to talk to you today all about visual flow. I've got a composition behind me which I think will kind of sum up exactly what visual flow is and how to define it, and hopefully that'll give you some idea of what we think about as photographers when we're trying to capture an image. So I'm going to set up here and then I'll talk you through the composition. Remember back when you were a 5-year-old kid and you drew or painted your first proper picture of a house, and you're in your classroom with a bunch of other 5-year-old kids and your teacher, and you're trying to draw a picture of a house, and the first thing that you do is you draw a square box that's all red, and that's the front of the house, and in the middle of that you put a blue doorway, and then either side of the doorway you've got a set of white windows, and then in front of the house you've got some green grass, and through the middle of that green grass you've got a yellow path running straight through up to the front door, and then you've got a purple roof on the top of the house, and you may even have got a bright yellow sun up in the corner and some clouds in the sky above the house. I guarantee that's the very first proper picture that you drew or painted when you were a kid of 5 years old. And that's what this composition is like as well. So I'm going to show you the composition and try and explain it to you. And that really is essentially what visual flow is all about. It's how we formally walk ourselves through the image as we're looking at the image. So you'll start at the beginning of the image and work your way through to the middle and then up into the background eventually. And that's the idea really. So I want to show you this image first of all. So essentially this is your composition right here. On the right hand side of the image you've got this tree, obviously, which is quite an important anchor point for the image, and just below that you've got the root system of the tree, which kind of points you a little bit further down this pathway into the woodland, and you can notice all the beautiful orange and yellow and browny colours are on the floor already, which are also drawing you into the centre of that image. And then you've got these trees on either side. You've even got this very little one here on the right hand side, and then you've got this very reddish coloured tree right in the middle, and then you've got the path that runs essentially right through the middle of there, and then you've got these two trees either side. And the whole idea of that image is very, very similar to your house that you drew or painted as a 5-year-old. It's got an obvious, very clear formal route through the image, and that is how we look at the image when we're looking for an image, a composition that we want to photograph. This is a spot I've been to a few times before, and I've shot it in a few different ways. I've shot it with a wide angle lens at about 17mm with essentially the composition that you see here. But I've also stood in this very same spot and got my longer lens on it, the 70 to 300mm lens, and I've zoomed in to about 110, 115mm and shot a little bit further into the scene, a little bit further down towards the back of the scene there, and you'll probably notice at the very back there's a little bit of darkness there where there's another tree and then some quite brightly coloured leaves that are just above that. And that's the image I've shot with the longer lens previously from this very spot, because I quite enjoyed the way the leaves at the back of the image kind of overhung the path, and the sunlight coming through the tops of the trees gave a perfect shine on those leaves. So I hope you like the image I'm about to show you. So I think I've shown you two images there. One that was shot with a 17 to 40mm lens at 17mm to give you a slightly wider crop, but then I've also zoomed in a bit to 40mm to show you that very slightly tighter crop and how that makes a bit of a difference in terms of how you look at the composition. Hopefully you'll see that they've both got a very similar visual flow to them, because obviously they're both shot from the same spot and essentially the same subjects are in the scene, although one is a slightly tighter crop than the other. So I hope you've enjoyed those images. I'm going to move on now to another spot where I think I'm going to find an image with a very similar look and feel to it, but obviously a slightly different spot and a slightly different subject matter in it, and I'll try and talk you through the image there as well. So I'm so underprepared today, guys. Basically I've come out today without even thinking about batteries. I just decided to get out and start taking a few photos. Well, unfortunately the battery in my wireless microphone has died. No juice in it whatsoever. It lasted about 30 seconds before it switched itself off. So I've got a backup microphone that I'm using now. So after removing the microphone and putting the backup microphone onto the top of the camera, I decided to start shooting some video, and discovered after about a minute or so of shooting video footage that my camera battery was also out of juice. So I've luckily got 2 spare batteries in the bag, so I decided to put one of those in and discovered that that was also out of juice. So I'm now on my 3rd camera battery, but thankfully I think this has got a bit more juice in it, so I should be able to get a full video out of this. But at the moment I'm standing right near to a composition that I want to show you. I'm going to set it up and show you the composition and talk you through it, and then I'm going to walk into it and show you those individual points about that composition. So here is the next composition. I'm probably going to talk you through it and then show you an overlay of me actually walking through the scene whilst I'm talking. So hopefully you'll be able to work this one out for yourselves, but it's fairly straightforward really. We've got on the left hand side, there's obviously one quite prominent tree in the foreground and several other trees just to the right of that, and they kind of force your eye towards the right hand side of the image. But in front of those trees we've also got the beautiful orange and golden leaf colours on the woodland floor again. So this image has got a similar look and feel to the last one, but then as your eye moves further over to the right hand side of the image, you've also got a path which runs away down the right hand side of the image and disappears to the right out of view. And that's kind of the way I want you to be following the image, from those beautiful yellow and golden coloured leaves on the floor through to those trees on the left hand side, and then forcing your way down to the right hand side towards the path. Again, like I said, this has got the same look and feel as the previous 2 images. Slightly different subject, a few hundred yards further away, but I think it kind of sums up visual flow quite easily as well. So I hope you like this image as well. Now it just so happens that while I'm standing there thinking about making that image there, I've also looked around behind me in literally the opposite direction from where I was just standing. There's another composition which I think looks quite interesting, and you'll notice it as all of these trees here just in the background leading back down towards this path at the back of the scene just here. And as I swing around a little bit, you'll notice my tripod and bag are still just over there looking towards that scene, and then swinging back round here I've got this scene behind me. So I'm going to see if I can capture a shot of this scene as well from roughly where I'm standing over there. I think it looks fairly good, but also it's interesting just walking a little way over here to see if I can see anything slightly different to that. I think it looks better from over there, to be quite honest with you, so I'll go and set that shot up and take that shot as well. It's all very well to look at these images and consider that visual flow is one of the things that, one of the tools that we use, the techniques that we use in composition, which works collaboratively with other techniques and tools within composition to create the best composition, and that would be correct. But in my next image I want to show you how we use framing instead to create that visual flow. Sometimes we look at an image where we have to have a visual framework within the image to kind of give us what the image should be, to explain the image to us, and that gives us our visual flow as well. So I'm going to find my next composition. I know it's only just down here, not very far now, but once I find that I can show you how framing gives us that visual flow as well. So I've come back to a spot where I've taken one of my favourite images of all time, and it's literally this tree behind me, and I've shot it several times at different times of the year from different directions. So I've come back to it today to take another photo of it because I think this looks perfect and explains how framing gives us our visual flow. So this essentially is the shot. This tree here on the right side of the image, right on the edge of the path just here, you can see the path just running along the right hand corner. This tree then goes up here like this, and then you've got this large limb that sticks out and runs across into the parkland, and you've got all these beautiful ferns that have changed from their beautiful greens and yellows earlier on in the autumn, and now they've turned a beautiful golden orange colour. And it's this image that I really wanted to shoot today. This is the real reason I wanted to come out. Like I said, I've shot this several times at different times of the year and from different angles and in different directions. I've actually stood at the far side of the tree, just over here somewhere, and shot back this way, looking at the tree as well during the summer. This is a really interesting image, and look at how that limb there creates a framework across the image and frames up those beautiful golden ferns that we've got just there on the floor beneath and behind the image. So that essentially is the image. You can see just how that beautiful limb coming out of the tree there leans across and gives us the framework that provides us with the visual flow that we need before we start looking at the beautiful golden colours here just beneath the tree. I'm focused on the tree in that image because that's the important part of the image really. It's the tree itself that gives us that framework. But obviously the colours are beautiful as well, and that's the reason I really wanted to come and capture that image. Now I've just got one more image I'd like to capture as well, and just out of interest, it's an October version of the image that appears in my 2024 woodland and landscape photography calendar. If you don't have one of those, I suggest that maybe you get in touch with me and I can arrange for you to have one delivered. They are £15, and obviously I'm still providing worldwide free delivery to anybody who wants one. I've literally only got a handful of these left now, so if you want one, then please put your name in the comments box below and your email address, and I will contact you and let you know how you can pay for that and how it will be delivered to you. But like I say, there literally are only a few left, and there isn't very much time now because we are at the very end of October for you to get your calendar. So if you want one, make sure you hurry up and get one. But I'm going to go and find the image now. Like I say, this appears in the January month of my 2024 calendar, but I haven't ever photographed this in October, so I want to go and see this version of it now. So my last image is this guy just here, and I've got to be honest, he looks very, very different in January, very different indeed. So like I said, if you haven't already got a 2024 calendar from me, then now's the time to get hold of one, because in January you will see this guy for a whole month, and you'll see just how different it is in just a couple of months time in January, when there's no leaves left on the trees at all and everything's very, very grey and beige, and everything looks very, very kind of stark and wintry, to be quite honest with you. But at the moment we've still got some of the autumn colour left in the leaves and some autumn colour on the woodland floor as well, and he's a lot darker during the autumn because he's very wet than he is in the early winter in January. So like I said, if you haven't already got a calendar, they're £15, It's an A3 calendar. I'm still offering worldwide free shipping at the moment, so if you're interested in buying one and you want to see what this guy looks like in January, then put your name and your email address in the comments box below and I'll let you know how you can get hold of one. So guys, that's visual flow. It's the idea that we use a very formal set direction to draw us into the image and through the image, and that's basically all that visual flow means, how we start from the beginning of the image and get to the end of the image when we're looking at it. And it's something that we use in composition as a tool for composition all the time, and it's something that we all use as artists even if we don't really realise we're doing it. So I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and also please remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you are interested in buying a calendar for 2024, don't forget to put your name and your email address in the comments box below and I'll get back to you and let you know how you can get hold of one. In the meantime, thanks once again for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.